welcome to Success Between Hours. And today, our tenant for today is going to be affirmative space. So, of course, we have our four tenants, and today we're covering our tenant affirmative space. And our topic for today is one of my favorite topics. It's a favorite subject to explore for me and to get to experience. And that topic is called agreeable action. And you're going to love hearing more about what is agreeable action. So, first, let's talk a bit about affirmative space and light of our topic, agreeable action. So, of course, we know affirmative space is about creating or experiencing moments where the assignments and the goals that we have for our day can receive support and encouragement. So, environments where we can receive support and encouragement for the assignments and for the goals that we have as part of our workday. Moving into our topic for today, agreeable action. This idea comes up when we find ourselves wanting to achieve specifically an event. An event can be a personal and or a private event, say a one on one event. An event can be a group event. But an event essentially is a meeting where there is a specific goal or result in mind and requires some kind of discussion, conversation, some kind of participation with the other or with the group. So, this specific topic of agreeable action today is really around when we want to host an event, whether that event is a one on one event, such as a meeting, or whether that event is a group event. When we're new, especially when we're new as an independent associate, or when we're new to hosting events, we can find ourselves having that strong goal and that strong intention and desire to host an event and an event that we can foresee has the potential to be very successful. But at times, there is a discrepancy between, say, hosting that successful event and knowing that that successful event is possible and is achievable, and where we currently find ourselves within our own current perspectives and experience beliefs, or where we might be at in our current place and position in our career. For example, we want to host an event, say in a week or two, or even in a month, or possibly could be even something more ambitious like an annual event or semi-annual event. It could be a first time or inaugural event, or again, it could be an introductory event with one other person. And what can or we can find ourselves not feeling quite mentally prepared for that event. So while we know that event is possible, has great potential for success, based upon, say, our experience and our talent and our abilities. And yet, for some reason, we find ourselves not feeling, say, mentally or emotionally prepared for that event that we know has that potential. So the question becomes, how can we move forward? How can we move forward when we know that we're sitting with an event that has this high potential, something that we feel very passionate and assured about, and yet find ourselves feeling not quite mentally or emotionally prepared for that meeting or for that event? This is where our topic, agreeable action, comes in to assist us with being able to move forward, even though we feel a bit, let's say, not fully prepared to move forward. And as an added note to this discussion, sometimes this experience can be quite frustrating, especially when we can perceive that hosting the event itself, having the meeting itself, would then allow us to feel more prepared. Then would then allow us to feel more in the mental or emotional space that we would need to be to host such events. So we can see that this can be quite a frustrating experience when when we know we're sitting with an event that has great chances and great potential for success, and we feel like if only we could reach that event and actually go ahead and have that event, that then suddenly within we can catch up and feel more prepared to move forward, say, I say, even with such event or going forward. So this can be so when this situation arises, it's a quite frustrating experience. It can be a quite baffling experience, not knowing how to move forward, even when sitting with great potential. So our topic today, agreeable action, is going to help us to have a new perspective on how we can do just that, how we can go ahead and move forward, even though we may not be feeling quite prepared to do so. The agreeable action method works like this. First, let's look into why at times, as an independent associate, why sometimes we can feel not prepared mentally, emotionally to host an event. Well, as we know, our mind is um, is always susceptible and open to a variety of feelings and a variety of thoughts. Sometimes those feelings and sometimes those thoughts are not exactly supportive of the tangible goals and results that we are aiming to achieve. So, agreeable action is a new method to prepare for hosting meetings or hosting an event where we can begin to kind of move beyond the um, the mental or emotional circumstances that may be present in our current life. It's a way to move beyond some of those circumstances, and so that we can go ahead and get back into the goals and the results that we're really wanting to achieve. So, in other words, we don't want to just stop because we're feeling a bit uncertain or unsure, or we're having beliefs that are not supportive. We want to go ahead and continue to believe in our goals. We want to go ahead and to believe in the potential to accomplish the results that we envision and that we believe in. So again, agreeable action, which is what we're going to get into right now, is a method to help us do just that. We begin with imagining the event or the meeting without considering, and this is going to sound very apparent, it should sound very apparent. We're going to envision our meeting or our event without considering none other but any of the mental or emotional considerations that we otherwise would. For example, perhaps we're putting together a meeting and um, we begin to consider some beliefs that are not supportive of that meeting. Sometimes we can then spend quite a bit of time considering that those beliefs that are not actually supportive. So instead of going ahead and considering those non-supportive beliefs, the agreeable action method is a way that we can begin to outline very specifically the actions that we would like to take, or the communication that we would like to have in that meeting or in that event, without considering any of the mental or emotional beliefs that would otherwise occupy our thinking and our work as we prepare for that event or meeting. For example, imagine you have an upcoming meeting, for example, with a local director at perhaps a library that you visit and maybe would like to host an event there. And maybe you would like to first think about having an event or meeting with the director of the library branch that you would like to host an event. Again, instead of considering beliefs that may not be supportive, instead, we're going to get right into the specific actions, the verbatim actions that are necessary to make that event possible and happen. For example, one verbatim action may be to get the contact information for the director. Another verbatim action may be to find out when is the best time to connect with that director. So we're essentially listing out verbatim actions. Then, even in terms of having that meeting, say once that meeting is scheduled, or if it works, maybe just arriving between certain hours, even the communication and discussion, we can even go ahead and write out verbatim. So what does it mean? It means, what specific information would you like to discuss with the director? So instead of waiting and kind of hoping that what you would like to communicate actually happens, instead instead, what is really nice about this agreeable action approach is you can go ahead and bring in notes for yourself, and have your questions or have the information that you would definitely like to express written, already prepared for the meeting. Not only can you have notes as far as questions or specific points that you'd like to discuss, but you can even begin with a point that says, hi, I am, say, Miss Size, and I am actually approaching our meeting with a method that I have heard of. It's called the agreeable action method. So I actually already have a list of questions that I've already prepared, and I hope I can just kind of just ask you these questions, and I hope we can just take our meeting from there. So, the agreeable action method is really trying to help us to ease our mental, emotional tension and anxiety, and really get back to seeing the physical nature of our goals, and of the process that it takes to achieve our goals. We're really trying to get back to specific specific moments, as opposed to ideas and possibilities. We really want to start breaking down those possibilities, and we really want to see them as specific moments. It's not just the possibility of having the meeting with the director, and what do I think about that, and what results may I get, but it's specifically understanding what happens each moment for that goal to be achieved. So, as opposed to leaving our visions in this very high space where we just kind of move along and kind of hope that everything works out, instead, we want to begin to bring that vision down and really see the physical nature of that vision. Realize that that vision requires at least two or three phone calls. Realizing that that vision requires a drive or a couple of drives, realizing that that vision requires choosing what you would like to wear in the morning, realizing that that vision requires perhaps um, could be a number of different very physical moments that have to happen in order to make that meeting not just possible, but feel like a success, even while using the agreeable action method.